We're going to look at the response now. And one thing I just wanted to state is actually that there's no memory, that every request in the API, it's as if it's the very first time. There's no memory stored on the OpenAI server as to what previous messages were. And unless we send previous messages, which we're not in this particular case, but we will do later on, there's no memory of what has just happened. So let's see an example of that. So if I type in my key, and what I'm going to do is just copy it. As I say, it'll be changed at the end of the course, so it won't be valid. So if I place it in here, if I say my name is Craig, it's going to respond back. Forgot the S at the very beginning there. Hello Craig, how are you? If I now say what is my name and type that in, I don't know. The reason being is it has no knowledge of the previous messages. And this is one really important thing to remember, is that each of these is stateless. We have to do something to kind of keep a memory of it, as we've seen in normal chat GPT or sort of chatbots. And we will get onto that as we progress through here. So let's have a look at the response that we got back. We got back an object data. What we're going to do is basically we have to get the message itself is to drill down into choices, the very first item and the only one, message and content. Let's have a look at that. And to do that best, I'm going to comment out this line and I'm just going to then say what is the data object we get back. So if we come back in here and I type in my key and I'm going to put the S at the beginning. S, let's save that. Control C. If we say what is the capital of England, it's going to load. And if we go to F12 into the console tab and open this up a bit, we won't see anything in here because that's JavaScript. But if we look at the object that comes back, we get an object that's got choices and it's just got 1, 0. And within that, if we work down, it has a message and then it has the content, the capital of England is London. So this is how, when we get our data object back, this is the line that we actually want, because this will give us the answer in terms of text. We might want further information that's stored in this data object, but you'll obviously see always this is the line. So when we've done that, we get the message and we can just output it on the page. So what I really want to do is, if I kind of minimize this page, is just show the structure from a high level view. We have HTML, all standard code, except for this bit here, which is, shall we say, the AI bit, where we send up our code, as it were, in natural language to one specific endpoint and we get a response. And then, as we'll see in future lectures, we move on and do things. So this is how, in a sense, I describe it, AI as API, which is the logo up here, is we have our traditional code. And when we're working with AI agents, it's an API call to a model, getting a response back, then doing something with it in our traditional code, in the same way when we kind of get product data back from a REST API call in WordPress, and then we do something with our PHP. The agentic part is literally that small set of lines. So you begin to see now why I say that this HTML example folder is the core of understanding agents. Once one understands that the prompts and how the messages that come back, and it's one endpoint, then the rest of these plugins which you'll do will just be lots of traditional code around an API request. So with that done, that is the response part of the OpenAI HTML. We've seen how we can send in extra data, so parameters, as it were, the tokens, so that it can go no more than 1,000 tokens, about 700 words. We will look at temperature now, just to explain it in a little bit more detail. But basically, it can be, if you want more generative work, you have it higher, so it's more creative. If you're doing more specific work, you want it to be 0. And we're going to explain in the next lecture why a temperature of 0 still isn't deterministic, and we can still get hallucinations or wrong information back. And we'll